movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cinemaniacs podcast, where we talk movies, games, and TV shows. I am your host, Maceo. As always, I'm joined with my co-host,
Matthew.
And today, we have a very, very good episode, I think.
Yes. Very interesting.
Very in-depth episode. We're going to be talking about some news that came out this week, obviously, and we're also going to be talking about Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
So, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, before we start off, officially, I just wanted to say that Tom Holland is now as old as Tobey Maguire was when he first played Spider-Man. Which is hilarious because he finished playing Spider-Man before he was the age that Tobey was when he first started.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. It's wild that we're living in that timeline now because he's always looked like 12 or like in the middle of like 12 and 19. So, but let's go ahead and hop right into this news. Now, this week they announced a live action, or they didn't announce this week, but they announced the cast, the two actors for the live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
They have casted Mason Thames as Hiccup and Nico Parker as Astrid.
Yes.
Now, I don't know these names. These are not names that I know.
Nico Parker was Joel's biological daughter, Sarah, on The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I do know her. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm sure these are going to be...
I do not know the guy playing Hiccup, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a live action How to Train Your Dragon, though, is going to be a lot of fun. I know the live action stuff doesn't really need to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's DreamWorks. It's their first live action adaptation of something they've done animated form first.
Yeah.
So it was fun when Disney first did it, but let's hope it doesn't go overkill. Like that's the only
I think the only like real worry is how the dragon's going to look.
Yeah.
Because, they're kind of iconic looking in some degree in the movies.
They're very animated dragons.
Yeah.
Like literally like in the like physical and like personality sense.
Yeah. So like how do they make Toothless
right
live action?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll pull it off, but Robert Eggers has wrapped production on Nosferatu.
Yes.
Something that I believe you are very
excited
looking forward to. I'm also interested in that. The Ninja Turtles, the new Ninja Turtles trailer dropped this week, and we got our look at the villains, the side cast, the side characters that are in it. Superfly, played by Ice Cube, is the official main villain of the movie. Again, every time I see something new about the new Ninja Turtles movie, I actually get like genuinely excited, and I've never been interested in the Ninja Turtles, so it's kind of nice to be excited for something different, kind of like with the DC stuff,
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new Fast and Furious,
yes.
surprise, with The Rock.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I also heard, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard the rumors of another Rock spinoff in the Fast and Furious movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that Kevin Hart and Ryan Reynolds could be introduced into the Fast and Furious saga in that movie.
Well, they were already in Hobbs and Shaw.
They were?
Remember? Yeah.
Kevin
Hart and Ryan Reynolds were both in Hobbs and Shaw as cameos.
Well, maybe I guess they'll
but
look to bring them back and stuff as long-term characters, possibly.
I'm so sick of Fast and Furious.
They're going to keep it churning, man.
Oh, my God.
Even though I thought that, it's ending in the next, 2 movies or whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Oh, the Fast saga ends and then the rest of it continues.
Yeah.
So it just continues on. So it doesn't really end.
Their kids take over.
Yep. Their kids. Vin Diesel's race-changing baby.
I saw someone said that Fast and Furious is gonna get the chance to do Young Avengers before the MCU does.
Yeah, it looks like that's what we're getting is the Young Fast. Young Fast. That's probably what the name of the movie will be is Young Fast and Furious. Yep. Wes Anderson, his next film is going to be very dark and twisted, and will be adapting 4 Roald Dahl stories. So, like, Fantastic Mr. Fox was a Roald Dahl story.
Okay.
And he'll be adapting 4 of those in one movie, and it will be very dark and twisted.
Interesting.
And so far, he has cast, or the cast that we know is Ralph Fiennes, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dev Patel, and Ben Kingsley. And this will be on Netflix at the end of this year.
Wait, the film is gonna be out this year?
Yep, end of this year.
Wait, so two Wes Anderson movies in 1 year?
Yep. It's a good
and
year.
this one has Ralph Fiennes, Benedict Cumberbatch, Dev Patel, and Ben King. Bro.
Yeah.
And it from the plot, it kind of sounds like it might be kind of like a French Dispatch kind of situation where it's telling multiple stories inside of one movie,
right.
You know?
Kind of sounds like that's what he's going for here.
And dark and like twisted, Wes Anderson.
Not happy Wes Anderson? What? Interesting.
I'm very excited for that.
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
I don't know if my brain can handle 2 Wes Anderson movies in the same year.
What? 2 in the same year? Yep. Exciting. I'm excited to see that.
That's amazing.
Yep. Now we can go ahead and listen to your news. What did you have this week?
So I got a little bit of game news from the Insomniac team.
Oh.
They confirmed in on Twitter, I believe, that the new map in Spider-Man 2 is going to be twice the size of the previous one in Miles Morales and the Spider-Man PS4 game, because they have added Queens and Brooklyn now to the map. So you're going to be able to go over the bridge, or maybe fast travel, take a subway or something.
Oh, that's exciting.
And so you're going to have way more to explore.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man 2.
Game's going to take me more than 200 hours to complete this time. It's going to take 2,000 hours to complete.
Oh, yeah. It's probably going to have way more landmarks, way more encounters, and just much more of everything I think you could expect. Probably.
With this and Tears of the Kingdom this year, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be like my main focus is in 2 games this year. Like, I can't even touch anything else. It's like
very, very nice year for gaming.
It is.
John Carpenter says that a direct sequel to his main hit movie, The Thing, could be happening.
Okay.
It's a very, very popular like horror thriller kind of movie with Kurt Russell.
Right.
And apparently a direct sequel could be coming out from John Carpenter, who is the director who made the first one. So it's the same director.
Yeah, so that means it's like maybe it'll be good instead of it being awful.
Yeah, possibly. Who knows? Christopher Nolan has confirmed that Oppenheimer is rated R, and it's actually his first R-rated movie in 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it is and he has confirmed the exact runtime at 3 hours and 9 seconds.
Wow, so just at 3 hours.
Yeah, literally just at 3 hours.
Wow. Yep. I mean, it makes sense. Large cast, big story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And the last bit of news I have, movie, games, and TV show related, is the first trailer for Pixar's next movie after Elemental, Elio, or Elio, however you pronounce it, apparently is ready for release. So apparently they have the trailer already ready and stuff. And the film follows a boy who is transported across the galaxy and mistaken for an intergalactic ambassador for Earth.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So Guardians of the Galaxy. That sounds interesting. I mean, it sounds less generic than Elemental is looking. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's more potential here probably for some good... And that's not saying Elemental doesn't have like some good animation, because I don't think the animation is the problem.
No, not at all.
You know, but this definitely feels like it has like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of
space.
Space kind of vibe feeling.
I mean, if you saw Lightyear, did you watch Lightyear?
Yeah, I did watch Lightyear.
I can't deny, even though I'm not the biggest fan of that movie.
Yeah.
The animation was beautiful.
Yeah, the animation was really good.
Looked very like gritty almost, you know? Yeah. So like a gritty space adventure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Maybe they're saving that for later this year. So it's like, well, we came out with one that no one really liked, and now we're gonna come out with a good one.
Yeah,
you know?
maybe.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into the Marvel news here, just real quickly. Agatha Coven of Chaos has finished filming. We won't go too in depth on that because we've already given our.
Let's go, man! This is my favorite show.
Yay!
I can't wait.
This will be my favorite show if Aubrey Plaza plays Death. It'll be my favorite show. But if not, yay!
I don't know.
Yay! We have a lot of Spider-Man news this week.
Yes.
They released Across the Spider-Verse, and immediately they were like, "Let's just tell them everything that's going on right now." Tom Holland has said that development of Spider-Man 4 is in its early stage, but is on hold due to the Writers Guild Alliance or Elite. What is it? Is it Alliance?
Yeah, the Writers Guild Alliance, I believe.
Okay.
The WGA.
The WGA, yeah. It's due to that. It's on hold, but Zendaya's coming back.
They confirmed that Zendaya is returning.
Yep. Now,
and a lot of people have. This has obviously caused some controversy. Yeah.
I personally, as I do like MJ, I do like Zendaya's MJ.
Yeah.
But I personally think we need one movie without her because we need to feel the effect of No Way Home. We need to feel that it really had an effect. You know, at least for one movie. I think they're also missing the opportunity to explore some other love interests.
Yeah.
I mean, they really could set up Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, and maybe some Gwen
Stacy, or even go even more creative. You know, maybe throw in they already used Liz.
Yeah, they already used Liz. They could throw in Kitty Pryde from the X-Men because they dated for a little while.
Okay.
And they're the same age.
Yeah, get in the different romances and stuff. Yeah.
You know how cool it would be? We got introduced Spider-Man in an Avengers type movie, in the Avengers casted movie. And then what if we got the start of the X-Men in a Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kitty Pryde, make them date for a day or something, you know?
Bro, I unironically kind of feel like She-Hulk with Daredevil and She-Hulk kind of their relationship kind of feels like it could have spawned possibly a different avenue for some of the MCU characters to take with like romance and stuff like that.
Right, to pair some people who aren't usually paired up.
Yeah.
And as a relationship.
With some good chemistry and stuff like that, and if it works. It works,
yeah. Exactly. But it is currently on hold. The development of the movie is obviously due to the strike, and then Zendaya is coming back, and I want Zendaya to come back, but I don't. And I liked Zendaya, but I don't know that I really needed her to come back because it'd be really nice to see some new stuff. You know?
I'd like it to be kind of like the comics where they like juggle around with all the different love interests, kind of with where Raimi was going with his movies.
Yes,
where all the love interests are there, and Peter kind of bounces.
Yeah,
you know,
I can do both.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know, but obviously Zendaya return I don't think is inherently a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's just, as of right now, is not the most exciting thing.
Yeah, for sure.
However, what is really exciting is that Spider-Man 4 will be heavily teased by Kevin Feige himself, heavily affected by Daredevil Born Again.
Nice.
Which means, we're getting the Kingpin versus Spider-Man fight. Yeah, we're getting that fight.
So, it almost like, that's almost confirming that Spider-Man 4 is going to be like a street level kind of movie. Because I don't think that they're going to delegate Kingpin, Spider-Man beats him up in the first 15 minutes or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I could see them doing that with like a different villain, maybe.
Shocker.
Yeah,
Someone
Shocker.
he does that like they always use.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it would make sense. I feel like this just kind of confirms what we have already suspected.
Yeah.
Almost.
And it's exciting.
Very exciting.
I
yeah.
need this. You know?
Oh, yeah, bro.
I need this.
Oh, my gosh. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh.
With Tom Holland.
With Tom Holland, Vincent Veidt would
and
be.
Charlie Cox mixed in there, too.
Yes. Maybe some Punisher, some John
my
Bernthal Punisher.
gosh.
Yes. Sydney Sweeney is confirmed to be playing Julia Carpenter in Madam Web, and Julia Carpenter is Spider-Woman who wears the black suit. So, not that we'll probably see that. We'll probably see the version of her in the comics that just wears a red leather jacket, because I believe we've seen set photos of that, but it is, and people speculated that she was Julia Carpenter, but it is confirmed now that she is. Some other related news is Chris Hemsworth has said that he is ready to come back as Thor. However, he wants to incorporate action scenes like Extraction. Did you watch the first Extraction movie?
No, I have not watched Extraction.
These are one-take John Wick type fight scenes. These are like him like using a gun to beat people up and then shooting them. You know, it's like it's that really creative. It's the best part of that movie.
So like some really like creative like action sequences and stuff like that. Good choreography. Yeah. Stuff like that.
It's the move. That movie is actually holds a record for longest one-take action scene. I believe it's a 10-minute one-take action scene. Yeah. And the new one, I think they said is 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, they upped it.
I honestly, that's probably that's honestly a decent direction to go in terms of the mechanics of how Thor fights and stuff. A one take of like following like Mjolnir and stuff, which I know that they've done that in some movies, but like true one take like action sequence of like following Mjolnir and feeling like all the lightning and stuff like that and thunder and everything. I think that could be really interesting.
It would be so cool. Like a character that really you wouldn't think would fit with a one-take kind of close-up action kind of shot, like a John Wick style action scene. Yeah, is Thor with his giant axe, you know, and that'd be so cool. And I think Chris is ready for a fresh take on Thor, a fresher take on Thor.
So what? Thor 5 is that what we're saying?
Maybe. I think he might be more like whenever he appears. Like if he appears again, he wants to just be a little different. You know, he doesn't want to be he says different, but and this is just me interpreting it in my own way, but I honestly think he could mean this, is just wanting to go back to the version Infinity War and Endgame where he was like perfectly balanced with like comedy and serious tone, you know? Yeah. And I think it was a perfect version of the character. So I mean, why not? You know? Yeah. So, but the important thing is Chris Hemsworth wants to return, and that's always good news.
For sure.
Yep. They have confirmed that there is a Spider-Woman film in the works. We don't know if it's live action or if it's animated, so this could be, I guess this could be a Jessica Drew from Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. The pregnant version. Yeah. Or it could be a live action. Yes. So that's pretty interesting. We've got a Spider-Verse spin-off movie with Gwen is in the works, which is hilarious because the new one was kind of like her movie too. You know, the new one is kind of also her movie. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that a spin-off of the Spider-Verse trilogy is something I really want, because the fun of it is that they all are together. It's all these different spider people working together. And it's like, well, don't get me wrong. She's one of the best parts of the entire, so far the two movies, she's like one of the, if not the best part, you know?
For sure.
But I don't know that I want to see her by herself, because it's so fun to watch all these characters be together.
Yeah. Like where do they, I don't know. I don't know where they take that with a whole movie. Yeah. Like of her, like what do they do? Like, is it like we go from this whole multiversal thing to just like a kind of like street level grounded, like Gwen Spider-Man movie or whatever? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting, but
maybe you take a Gwen, Spider Gwen or whatever. Maybe the next evolution for a character is like for her to be in the MCU like that. to
It
make
might
Gwen
be.
Stacy to
Yeah.
have her be a Spider-Woman eventually in the MCU or something.
It might be. I honestly like the idea of them using the MCU as, because what I really would genuinely wanted was, I like the Peter and Miles dynamic rather than Miles taking up the mantle of Spider-Man as soon as Peter dies. You know, I love like that's one of the best things about the Insomniac games.
Yeah.
Is that it's like both of them together.
Yeah.
And that's so fun, and I think we need that
That's what we
specifically in the
need,
MCU. Yeah.
To me, I feel like too many people are like they're hell-bent on like as soon as Miles gets introduced, Peter Peter has to die.
Right.
Nah, like kill him
Yeah,
off, you know? But I don't know. I think we need that to be explored in the MCU, particularly in this next trilogy. I think is like a really good time to do it.
I agree.
Honestly, set him up soon, man. Set
And
him
they
up
could
soon.
do it with the Prowler.
They could.
They could who we might have already seen. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean I think and they've taken a lot of inspiration from the PS4 game. Both this one, the first one, and the Miles Morales game.
Yeah.
Like literally the last movie, No Way Home, had a lot of inspiration from that.
Oh yeah.
And I think they might be doing this on purpose in the game with having them both together because they've noticed that people like that.
Bro, I even remember some of like the fight scenes and stuff looking kind of similar to some of the combos and stuff that you do in the game and stuff.
When he flips him up in the air.
Yeah,
and
and he drops him down.
Yeah.
Dude, that one specific, I was like,
Straight up.
dude, I'm pretty sure I've done that in the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
game
that's literally a
before.
straight up move. And the Aunt May, them killing off Aunt May, that was obviously
huge part of
big
the story.
inspiration. Yeah. Killing Aunt May is genuinely sadder than killing Uncle Ben.
It is,
just because you expect Uncle Ben to die.
Yeah,
so
Uncle
it's
Ben is like the red shirt, like the ultimate red shirt character.
Yeah, you're Spider-Man's uncle.
It would honestly
Sorry.
be more surprising now if they like genuinely like didn't kill Uncle Ben.
He lived.
And they were like, but Aunt May died instead or something.
Well, it's funny because there's a comic that does that. It's like, what if Uncle Ben lived and Aunt May died? And like Peter's just an idiot. Like he gets like he's raised by Ben, and he just turns out to be like it's
way
idiot.
worse. Yeah,
it's like it's kind of weird because Ben is like his source of inspiration and wisdom. So it's weird that he turns out to be this goof. You know?
Yeah,
it's so strange. This was just a bit of a fun news that I liked. Apparently, Spider-Punk in the new Spider-Verse movie took 2 to 3 years alone to animate. Just one character. And when you're watching the movie, you see it.
Yeah.
You understand. And we will talk about that. But that's incredible. That's incredible that this one character took them that long, and it looks as good as the movie itself. The movie looks as good as this character.
Yeah.
And finally, probably the biggest piece of news is that they announced a live-action Miles Morales movie is in the works. Is it MCU? Will it connect to the MCU? Who's to say?
This is the most like interesting news I think that they released because this could be anything.
Right.
To me, this could even be Beyond the Spider-Verse. Like this could be like that they mean that Beyond the Spider-Verse goes into live action or something.
Well, that's because Beyond the Spider-Verse, my theory is Beyond the Spider-Verse will become live action at the end, or at some point in the movie we will see live action Miles, and it'll hint towards the MCU maybe.
Yeah.
And it'll be Beyond the Spider-Verse, meaning more people, more heroes, you know?
I think we will obviously get a live action like MCU Miles movie at some point. But I think that this specifically was talking about either Beyond the Spider-Verse or a live action Miles movie after Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Which I guess that could mean that Sony could be doing... Would Sony be doing their own Miles stuff? Do you see that happening?
Yes, I can. But I would love for this to be like a Marvel Studios and Sony, like the Tom Holland movies.
Yeah.
Like I would love for it to be something that is canonically like, yes, this is part of your MCU watch.
Yeah.
You know, this is an MCU movie that's coming out, rather than this is part of our Spider-Man extended universe.
Yeah.
No, stop. I don't. I do think though. I think no matter what, we will get live action Miles, and the reason that they're doing this in the first place is so he can be in like Secret Wars. You know, I think they're doing that on purpose. So that is probably the biggest piece of news that we had in the Marvel section that I had, anyways. What did you have?
I had the same stuff. Yeah, the live action Miles Morales movie and the Spider-Woman stuff.
All right.
And the Spider-Man 4 news. Yeah, I had the same.
Well, cool,
news.
cool. Before we hop into our review, real quick, since we aren't probably gonna have time and we didn't even watch that many this week, anyways. Did you said you didn't watch anything?
Yeah, no, I only watched the Succession finale. That's
right.
the only thing I watched.
Well, you can also add this to the list if you want. You can say that right now. Real quick, I'm just gonna recommend the 2 movies that I watched this week. I watched, again, 2 movies. I watched Grave of the Fireflies, which is a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
It's one of their oldest, I believe, and it's personally it's a really beautiful film.
Okay.
It's very very dark, very sad war film that focuses on 2 children that are affected by the war around them. And it's very, like, it got me. Like, it made me cry a little bit.
Okay.
So that is a very good one. Definitely check that out. And Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson. You talked about that, I know.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about this one because you already talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See Moonrise Kingdom. I think I gave Grave of the Fireflies a 9 out of 10. And I gave Moonrise Kingdom a 8 out of 10 or an 8.5. Yes. That's a great love story between 2 young preteens.
Yeah.
And it has the least amount of Wes Anderson isms, I think.
Okay.
It's definitely feels like a Wes Anderson film, but there are moments to me that were like, this does not feel like Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, this feels like somebody else directed or shot this moment. Beautiful colors, everything.
Yeah.
Great. Good movie. I definitely recommend these 2.
For sure. And then, I guess to talk a little bit about the finale of Succession and stuff.
Yes.
They didn't drop the ball with the the finale. They came out, the like producers and stuff came out and said before that it will be a pretty unexpected ending. It will be something that most people weren't guessing or anything out there on the internet, and they were right for the most part, I would say. And the entirety of the final season was honestly probably the strongest in the entire show. I think that all the acting has culminated to a point with the characters and stuff. The characters have been written up to a degree and have all reached like the climax and stuff of their arcs, that a lot of the acting really starts to shine. In the first 3 seasons, you can kind of get the feeling that it is Jeremy Strong and Brian Cox oriented show, but in season 4, it really feels like everybody's on like their A game. Kieran Culkin, Sarah Snook, Matthew McFadden, the guy who plays Tom, Nicholas Braun, the guy who plays Greg. Everyone's on their A game basically the entire time, and the characters reach a point that like I don't think anyone was really expecting them to go, and it was definitely a very shocking, very emotional finale that I think put the cap on the story very well.
Nice.
Yep.
Would you say this stacks up against something like Breaking Bad?
I think it is in that. I think it is in that upper echelon of the greats of TV and stuff like that.
Nice.
I would say it's in the Breaking Bad kind of tier. You
right.
know?
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's hard to get to.
Yeah,
so
that is high praise.
That's
yeah.
an achievement. Even if the ending sucked, it
Yeah.
would still probably be up there with that.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are our recommendations this week. Go watch those. You'll love them.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Now, let's jump into this Goliath of a movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Before we say anything too in detail, I just want to say that this movie is a triumph of animated and comic book cinema. What a film. Incredible movie. I mean, beautiful animation, like stunning.
Otherworldly
like
animation.
otherworldly animation.
From the start,
the
very
first
beginning.
moment, the intro with the Sony logo and
with the Sony logos, you knew you were in for a wild ride.
Yeah.
when all them logos started popping up.
right.
Oh,
And which, by the way, I rewatched it again today, and somehow from the very first second of the Sony logo all the way up to when it says like the comics code thing, the little stamp, that is hype. Like they made that like really high. It's like great build up. It's like that synth kind of scary, but also this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm praising the intro to the movie.
Yeah.
The opening logos. That's how good this movie is. But the opening, like you said, the opening scenes and stuff, beautifully animated. Starting with that, the opening of the movie.
Yeah. Starting with Gwen.
With Gwen.
Yeah.
The movie. So the movie opens with Gwen, and it's in. By the way, this movie is as much as hers as it is Miles, if not more.
Yeah.
The opening scene in the movie is one of the best openings ever. It's just one of the best openings.
Yes.
And it's the watercolor animation style that changes with the emotion of the characters. Oh my God.
Her scenes with her father are so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. Almost every single one I was almost brought to tears by just the beautifulness of the art on screen.
Yeah. That's how good it is.
Like literally just especially when he when she like hugged him or whatever.
Yeah,
and he like
rock to give your
immediately
old man a
like
hug.
turned and like it went from the dark to like the very light
pink.
background and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's like a greenish yellow.
And I love how it like slowly radiates to like if you watch the colors, they move, bro. Like you see it when you see the happiness literally emanate from the man as he receives a hug from his child.
Yeah.
Or you see like the sadness emanate from the distraught teenage girl, you know?
Right.
It's not like, these are easy things to connect with. And this is a very simple parent-child like dynamic and stuff, but it's made beautiful with how they express the emotions and stuff like that with the colors and the animation and stuff like that.
It's very simple, yet somehow extremely complex.
Yes.
Like just like the way it's done.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it is like visually it's like by design like showing you how the characters feel.
Yeah.
With color.
Yeah.
Like the most identifiable thing ever.
Yeah, literally.
It's the opening is incredible.
And then Vulture as well.
Vulture, the the blend of like this like paper mache animated version on top of the watercolor palette world of Gwen's, because it's in her world.
I loved the brief little shot of like his universe or whatever where they were all like paper mache and he goes through, bro. It was gosh.
It's like paper mache, but it's more like a Renaissance like sketch art.
Yeah,
of like a design that you might see of like a
Da
an
Vinci
old plane.
kind of blueprint or something like that.
And she calls him that. She says like you're from Da Vinci world or whatever. Everybody's Da Vinci.
But that was awesome.
Yeah, so good. Before we leave the Gwen topic, I just want to say that the scenes with her and her dad, there's only like two.
Yeah.
Like the opening and then a part and then towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Those moments of her and Captain Stacy are probably my favorite moments in the entire movie. And they're genuinely I want to say that they're the best written parts of the movie, but I don't even know because the rest of the movie is like just as good.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably the best written like connective part.
I would say it's the most emotionally like connective kind of parts of the movie.
Relatable. Yes. Other than the fact that I can't relate to like being like accused of killing my best friend and my dad pulled like, oh my God, like, what is this?
Yeah.
We didn't say it, but spoilers. We can't talk about really any movie, but this one we can't talk about without spoiling, and we have so much to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Now and then it moves on into Miles. It opens up with Miles, and we get to see how he's been as Spider-Man, and I think Miles for me at this point with this movie, I think Miles is as big or if not as close to Peter as Spider-Man. I think he has made his identity as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, if you think of Spider-Man now, you'll probably think of Miles and Peter.
I think that I think especially with like just how he's gotten a lot of saturation as well recently with Into the Spider-Verse being very popular, obviously, and then obviously getting his own game and being introduced in the first Spider-Man game and stuff now too. Yeah. And then he's going to be in obviously the new Spider-Man game as well. And then he obviously got this movie this year as well. He's gotten a lot of saturation obviously recently, and yeah, he's definitely made his mark, especially in the animated movies. I think the animated version of Miles has really like made his impact and stuff on the Spider-Man kind of as a whole costume and visual and stuff like that.
I agree. There's so much to talk about. I'm trying to think of what to talk about next. I guess the easiest thing, let's talk about like some of the cameos and stuff. Okay. Some of the fun bits. What was probably your favorite like cameo?
My favorite cameo. Okay, I really liked the OG like comic Spider-Man or whatever that was in there for like just a little.
I can do anything he can.
That was pretty funny. I also liked the Insomniac Spider-Man. I forgot that he was in there too.
He was like, what is happening?
What's happening, guys?
It was weird. There was a version when I saw it again. There's the version of him that's captured that they captured. Yeah. And then there's the version of him that's like actually a part of the society.
Yeah, the society, yeah.
Exact same suits.
Yeah.
Is it just like two different versions?
Yeah, I guess it's two different versions.
That's interesting.
Maybe it's the two different face scans.
No way. Oh, no way. That's hilarious. That's actually a great way to think about that. That's so funny. Oh, man. That's so good.
But no, those were probably my two favorites.
Yeah. Okay. Mine was probably, so I love the Lego
world.
The
Lego
world.
Great.
And they reused dialogue of J. Jonah from the first Spider-Man movie. Yeah. It's not like new dialogue. However, there is new dialogue in the movie from J.K. Simmons himself as J. Jonah Jameson, which is awesome. We get to see the animated version of him.
Yes.
So good. But I love that Lego Spider-Man, Miguel being like, "You're one of our best. Thank you. You're one of our best." Yeah. It's we don't see him again. It's so good. I think my favorite cameo in the entire movie. Oh, sorry. Also, Andy Samberg as Ben Reilly.
As Ben Reilly.
Perfectly captured, because he's like, it's like the big joke about Ben Reilly is that he's like extremely tragic and always like he's always like, "I'm incredibly sad and depressed."
Yeah.
And I love that they got Andy Samberg to literally just be like, my life is so dark, and it's so I'm thinking about a sad moment right now.
I thought he also had one of the funniest lines in the movie when he like put, I forget who it was, in like a chokehold. It might have been like Miles.
Yeah, and he's
like, "Look at the saturation of my biceps."
My incredibly saturated musculature. So good. It's so good. And then Jack Quaid from The Boys, who plays Huey, he plays Gwen's Peter.
Yes,
the one that we see in the beginning, and he has like 3 lines, and he's like, I didn't even notice it was him, and when we watched, I was like, yeah, that's Jack Quaid. It's so good. But I think my favorite cameo in the movie was, again, spoilers, even though at this point, if you're listening, you've already been spoiled a lot, was Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, as his version of the MCU Aaron Davis / Prowler. And this is the first time that we got to see him in his suit. Yeah. In a suit. Like the first time we saw him, he was like a low run criminal. You know, he was just he was buying weapons from Vulture. Yeah. And he was very low key, very chill guy, clearly like probably was like on something. You know? He was probably but in this version, we get to see, and well, also we already knew in Homecoming his status or whatever when he's like looking at the character. It says he's the Prowler already. Like that's an analysis that he already goes by. Yeah. So either this is like him after maybe like getting ready, he wants to like fight Spider-Man or something. Yeah. or something. I don't know. Anyways,
this was crazy to see in the movie. I was not expecting.
I didn't
this.
expect that. And this cameo is like layer upon layer upon layer of like meta reference. So I don't know if you know this. The reason Miles Morales exists is because of Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Because of Childish Gambino. He was on a show called Community, which is fantastic and hilarious and one of the best comedies out there. And it all sparked from Donald wearing a shirt, his character wearing a shirt in one frame, like one scene. It's him waking up in the morning with a Spider-Man t-shirt on. And that moment sparked one of the biggest petitions in online like movie history. It was Donald for Spider-Man. And this was before Miles existed. This was people like campaigning for him to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And which is crazy because nowadays that would never happen.
Yeah.
And based on this reaction, and this was when they were still casting for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So this was before they had Andrew, but then they announced Andrew, and I believe it might have been before or after they announced Andrew. They came out with Miles in the comics.
Yeah.
And it was all thanks to him just wearing this shirt. Didn't even think about it. He just wore this shirt.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy and then he played Miles in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show.
Yeah.
He played him that was Miles' first appearance in something other than comics.
Yeah. And I don't know, and it makes sense because he obviously aged out of the Miles Morales like role live action wise. So what does he do? Next best thing, he becomes the uncle to Miles Morales.
He's the uncle to Miles Morales, which is it's weirder because even though obviously Miles has a dad, but Uncle Aaron is still a father figure. Yeah. So Donald Glover, who is the technical father of Miles Morales, plays the father figure of Miles Morales and is and of himself technically the real life Miles Morales. Yeah. It's a weird conundrum. And
he's also the villain, the Prowler. And stuff. Yeah.
Crazy. And I think with them doing this and showing him in the suit is obviously a tease of like, oh look, here he is. It's him in the Spider-Verse Prowler outfit.
Yeah.
We could see him in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
This is Sony acknowledging the fact.
Imagine Kingpin, easy thing, bro, literally easy thing. Kingpin hires the Prowler. It's
just like
Into
the
just
Spider-Verse.
That simple.
Literally
Just like Into the Spider-Verse.
You're exactly right.
It's already set up.
Yeah, he hires him to take out vigilantes because the entire thing is that he's gonna make it outlaw vigilante.
And then Peter and Aaron could have like a little back and forth about how they've already met each other. Yeah. About how Peter already stopped him and told him like get out of it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's literally perfect setup.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because Hobie Spider-Punk says that he captured Donald Glover's Aaron, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know. This cameo is so good for like so many different reasons. It's an MCU cameo. It's a real life reference. It's like the creation of Miles reference. It's it's so many things in one, and it's so perfect. And like he like even has, I believe he has a song where he like references the fact that he was hoping to be Spider-Man or something. So good, so good. This one cameo is so beautiful. Miguel.
Yes.
Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man 2099 and the Spot. Let's talk about them both at the same time because they're both the antagonists of this film. The Spot is he's like this looming threat. He's the overall like what everyone's trying to stop.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious and he's fun. And Jason Schwartzman perfectly captures this just fun version of a dumb character.
Yeah.
Like a character, they were like, the Spot is going to be the villain of the next Spider-Man movie. We're like, what? Why? And he's just great.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he was probably the biggest like surprise in terms of like the main cast and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know. I was expecting more. In 2099, he obviously was for the most part the main antagonist. Like he took the more in action role.
Right.
But the spot still felt bigger than him. You know what I mean?
Because we knew he was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still kind of outshined the main antagonist of the film in a way.
Right.
And his encounters with Miles and stuff were obviously like some of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, it was so fun.
And the animation,
the pencil drawn, like when he's like demon.
Oh my
kind
god!
of, when he's like
sleep
corrupted.
paralysis demon or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like pencil drawn, all black, and the white swirls and stuff. Beautiful. The way the animation is used in general to tell the story itself is so good. They literally pop up definitions of words when they say it.
I love that.
Like Miguel says something about hammer space, and then it pops up at the bottom. Hammer space is a term that's used in like something like I can.
It feels so much like It feels so much like flipping through a comic book.
It does. It's so perfect. I don't know how like they didn't think to make comic book movies into comic books, or make comic books into comic book styled movies.
Yeah, with
like
all like the with this title or with the words and stuff like that, and the fonts.
Right.
A big thing is the fonts and stuff that they eat.
When it just goes like bang,
and the backgrounds and stuff like that for the words.
Yeah. Yep. But the animation is so rich and so like beautifully telling the story.
You can tell the detail and the care and the time that was put into this by the animators and stuff. You can feel it.
You can, This is the first time I think I've watched a movie and gone, I actually can feel like there's blood, sweat, and tears that's being put into this right now. Yeah, it's honestly an incredible feat. It's like it's so good.
Yeah.
That alone would like the animation alone is enough for the movie to be like one of the most rewatchable movies ever.
Yeah.
But luckily the story is incredible.
The story is amazing.
Yeah.
And they obviously hyped up, we're gonna leave it off on a huge cliffhanger and stuff before. And they did. They left it off on a pretty big cliffhanger. And I don't know. It felt pretty good to me. Like I know I did see some people complain that they weren't the biggest fan of the cliffhanger. Some people were kind of felt it was like they were more so indecisive about it. Me personally, though, I was really. I mean, I hated it because it was more it was more like I want to see what happens next, you know. But it was also really good at the same time.
That's how I feel. I think. I've seen the more that I've seen people be like, I wasn't sure that I agreed with this at first. People were like, well, technically it's an unfinished story.
Yeah.
It's not like an Infinity War ending where it's, even though it is a cliffhanger and we want to see them win, there is a complete story there. It's Thanos tries to win, Thanos wins.
Yeah.
And then it's over, you know?
Yeah.
This is truly a cliffhanger because it literally gives you the hope.
Yeah.
It's like, we're coming back. You know, we will be back.
But I have seen that as like the main genuine criticism I think that I've seen of the movie is that
that people wanted more.
Is that it doesn't feel finished. And one complete movie doesn't feel like a complete story.
Right. And I think after rewatching it, I feel that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I feel that, oh yes, this isn't a complete story.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, this is just telling right here. If the first half of a story is so good to warrant a 10 out of 10 from almost everybody that watches it, it's probably a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like the second half could be awful.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be, but it could be like genuinely terrible. And the first half will still exist and it will still be a hopeful movie to end. Like it'll still be like, oh, the ending was hopeful.
Yeah.
It still made me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
And the way it ends, I think the way it ends speaks true to like the character, like the movie speaks true to the character of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But the ending truly like solidifies like, wow, you just watched all this horrible crap go on to all these characters, like a bunch of crap just piled on top of them.
Yeah.
But the movie ends with hope. And that's Spider-Man's character is that he never gives up. There's always hope.
Yeah.
Even in the worst of situations.
Yeah.
And I think that the movie ends in just the most Spider-Man way ever. And I love that. And it's kind of the way that No Way Home ends, but it's a little different because No Way Home ends kind of like bittersweet.
Yeah.
This ends like, I can't wait to watch them kick that guy's ass, you know? But yes. So Spot and Miguel, great villains.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara.
Really great.
He has mastered his third Marvel character. He didn't. I wouldn't say he mastered Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse, but I think he's one of the actors in that movie that's having fun with it, and it's kind of easy to tell that he's having fun, and it makes him so goofy that I kind of like watching him now that I know that it's Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
But then this is the second Marvel character that he's landed that he has done a great job with. Miguel's so good. Your reaction to the first when he like takes his mask off and he like goes and his teeth come out. I looked over at you, you're like, what what is happening? You did not expect that. And then Miles has a joke later. It's like, are you sure you're even Spider-Man?
Yeah, are you even Spider-Man?
I love that joke. So good, so good.
Oh yeah, he was perfect. I love the way his webs like glowed and stuff.
They were like
that.
lasers. Yeah,
lasers.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he had so many. I feel like he had so many scenes where he just like came crashing in, like
every time he was just bam.
He would just be like, wham, right through a wall or something, or grabbing somebody, and every time it was just a big entrance, and it just felt crazy.
Yeah, it was so good. The music is something that I noticed more so the second time around. The music is. It's not going to be talked about as much.
Yeah.
It's not, because there's so much in the movie that's so much more prominent and so much more obvious.
Yeah.
But the music fits perfectly. Gwen's theme in the beginning with like the soft guitar in the background, and it feels almost like sad blues, like a. I'm trying to think. For the audience, you might get this is Lethal Weapon, and I don't know if you know how that's like.
No.
It's like real soft. It's real somber, but it's like a real electric guitar, like blues sound. And hers is that, and it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
And then 2099, Miguel O'Hara, his theme is like an evil synth, and it works because he's from the future and he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
So it works so well.
To me, I don't know. To me, I feel like the movie really captured Spider-Man 2099.
Yes.
Like what because he is kind of like I don't know. He feels like a cross between Spider-Man and Batman almost. Like he's like
that's the kind of the character they were going for. His character in the comics and everything. He's even got the blades on his arms.
Yeah.
He's kind of supposed to be like if Batman and Spider-Man were mixed.
But he even in this movie at least even has like less hope than Batman sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you gotta let your father die.
Yeah, he's like, your dad's gonna die, and you're gonna let it happen. Dude, when Miles is like, you can't expect me not to save my father.
Yeah.
That hits. I don't know. It just kind of hits. That line is like, it's so desperate. Yeah. It's like, I need to save my dad. Bro, it's like
one thing I loved about this movie is the story always kept my mind churning. I was always thinking about like, okay, where's this going next and stuff like that. And when stuff clicked, bro, I literally said it out loud sometimes. I was like, yep, this is about to happen. Or like when they introduced Uncle Aaron or whatever at the end, and he didn't have any of the stuff on, and then they introduced, bro, I was like, oh no, they doing it.
When he gets the moment he gets knocked out, I was like, it's Miles. Miles is the Prowler. Let's talk about that real quick. Miles is the Prowler.
Bro.
I don't think it's Shamik Moore that plays him. It sounds like someone else.
It sounds deeper, like a way deeper voice. But I love the design, bro, because he has the braids in his hair.
Killmonger.
I don't know. Someone said it earlier in the movie, something about him having braids, or that he like should get braids in his hair. Someone said it like earlier in the movie, and then it obviously is paid off with him having braids as the Prowler.
Yeah.
But it might have been his mom or something.
I don't know that I heard it earlier, because I know she says it like when he's in that universe. She goes like, you took your braids out, like what's with that?
Oh that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't remember anybody before that saying anything like that.
But no, the design and stuff obviously looks really cool. The music was really awesome in that introduction. Really cool. and just
so dark.
Just really, you really felt the weight of the reveal.
Yes.
In that
even though
in
you
that moment.
knew,
Yeah.
like everyone in that theater knew that it was Miles.
Yeah.
But when he takes the mask off, you still go, "Oh, it's Miles."
Remember, I love how they made him look so different, like
He
their
doesn't-
facial expressions
Yeah.
and stuff. The Prowler Miles just looks done, bro. He's just like
yeah,
he doesn't care, bro.
he's ready to kill.
Yeah, and then but Spider-Man Miles looks like
he's afraid.
he looks like a puppy, bro. He's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, man?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. But this movie is incredible, and the setup for the next movie is so good.
Oh my god.
Peter has a baby. So
Yes.
Peter B. Parker in this movie.
Mayday.
That's interesting to me too. Mayday Parker. That's interesting. What's interesting to me is that is technically a canon and like a non-canon event. The fact that he has a baby,
Yeah.
because he wouldn't have a baby without Miles.
Yeah.
So are they gonna kill a baby? Is Mayday gonna die?
I don't know.
I don't know. That is something interesting to think about, is the fact that it's like some things have happened now since Miles like became Spider-Man. He has affected other Spider-Man's lives.
Yeah.
So how does that affect what happens? Does Captain Morales die and then nothing really changes, It's like,
Yeah.
does it all? Who
I
knows?
don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, it's visually stunning,
Yeah.
incredibly well acted, amazing references, so many great references.
Yes.
It's so good. It's truly something else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I gave it an 11 out of 10. Like, I officially was like, no, this is an 11. This is more than a 10. Yeah.
It was beautiful, man.
Oh, it's so
It's gonna be a hard comic book movie to top, I think, for this year.
Yeah. For this year specifically, yes. It's I don't think it's going to be topped.
Yeah.
I mean, they're banking on Flash being like, Batman's back.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
One
but
thing though, I don't want this movie this movie shouldn't take away from how great Guardians 3 was as well, cuz Guardians 3 was fucking amazing.
Yes.
But this movie was obviously like a
It's
different,
something-
it was crazy. It was a
different.
different level.
It's different. Yes. This is in no way shade to Guardians.
Yeah.
It's still perfect. It's still beautiful. And
It's going to be hard to top.
it's honestly, I thought when I watched Spider-Verse, it would probably be like a close second, or like a tie,
Yeah.
But after Spider-Verse, it's a close second.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. The Marvels will top. Imagine the Marvels is like better than everything that comes out this year.
I don't know. I honestly think this year as a whole will be a pretty good year. I think.
I think
'Cause
so,
I think the Flash will end up being pretty good, and
Yeah.
I think the Marvels will probably be better than most people expect it to be.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, definitely.
And I think obviously Secret Invasion will be probably one of the best Disney Plus shows. So
Right.
I think this year will, as for comic book movies as a whole, and obviously with the help of Across the Spider-Verse massively,
Yeah.
this will be probably a very good year for comic book projects in general, I'd say.
I agree. Well, if you had nothing else to say, do you have anything else to say on the movie that you were thinking of?
Not really. I mean, Spider-Punk scenes were amazing.
Yes. Oh,
beautiful.
yes. Spider-Punk and Spider-Man India,
Yeah.
great additions.
Yes.
Daniel Kaluuya and Karen Sony, who
Yeah.
plays Spider-Man India, great additions.
Yes.
They both fit perfectly. I loved that Spider-Punk did not give a shit.
Yeah, he was so
straight up.
independent,
Yeah.
and stuff. He was like, "Nah, man, I don't jive with this."
Yeah. If he doesn't like something, he just doesn't.
And he
mess
helped
with-
out Miles.
helps
and stuff.
Miles.
It was
So
nice.
good.
Yeah.
So good. Oh man. Yeah, so Across the Spider-Verse, you haven't seen it yet, go see it. It will change your life.
Yes.
It's this year, not in terms of its themes,
Yeah.
but it is this year's Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I would probably agree. Yeah.
Both multiverse movies, but that's just a coincidence.
Bro, go see this movie in theaters, man.
Yes.
This movie will still be amazing on streaming, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it will not nearly be as good as seeing it in theaters.
It won't.
Getting that animation, that color palette and
Yeah.
stuff on that big screen. it's unmatched for sure.
It really won't be. It'll be different watching it at home.
Oh yeah,
It'll be just as good,
Yeah.
but it won't be as much of an experience.
Yeah,
so good in theaters. Well, now, and I suppose we might come up with some points to make about the movie while we're doing this next bit. But now I want to do a tier list, a ranking of all 10 Spider-Man movies.
okay.
Something very simple. So yeah, we have all 10 Spider-Man movies right here, and we're just gonna rank them from, well, I guess we're gonna rank them. So, first up here we have Spider-Man 3. What do you think? Where does Spider-Man 3 go for you on the Spider-Man list?
Okay, so Spider-Man 3. It's a very wishy-washy one, I feel like, in terms of the major appeal towards it and stuff like that. It's very hit or miss for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Very camp. Honestly, I think you could argue this is the campiest of the camp Sam Raimi trilogy.
Yeah.
With the obviously blatant comedy scenes and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
And over the topness of it and stuff. And I don't know. There's also the iconic black suit, of course.
Yes.
That
and the
is-
dance scene.
Yeah.
That makes it perfect.
Bully Maguire, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
So many memes and stuff have spawned from the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
The movie itself, there is some moments that like kind of make my stomach hurt. That are kind of like, that kind of hurt to watch.
Right.
Like I don't know, man. The Topher Grace just praying to God.
He literally prays to God
to kill
he
Peter
prays
Parker
on Peter's downfall
and
for real.
and it was before he got the symbiote or anything.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was
just Eddie Brock.
just normal as Topher Grace, Eddie Brock,
It's just
just
so
praying for
funny.
Peter's downfall because he took a girl that he wasn't even dating.
Yeah,
He
like
wasn't even dating her. It's like, come
I don't
on.
know. Spider-Man 3, it's over the top.
Yeah.
It does like come back to its emotional beats towards the end though, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And where they went with James Franco's character as Harry Osborn is questionable with the whole Goblin 2 kind of stuff with the skateboard stuff, but it is weaker. I'd say Spider-Man 3's in C tier.
Okay.
I think it would be in C tier.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think I have the most nostalgia for Spider-Man 3 of probably any of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Because it came out like about 3 years after I was born, and it was the one that I just have the most memory of. Like I didn't watch it in theaters or anything, but it was the most recent, it was the most talked about amongst people at that time.
I think the same, honestly, because I was just such a huge fan of the black suit. And
Yeah.
I also played the movie version of the game or what.
Yeah.
And I love the black suit.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, I think a C tier is probably pretty fair. I really don't think it's the worst one.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't think any of these movies are bad.
I don't think any of these movies are straight up bad.
Yeah.
I can enjoy watching any of these movies. Like,
yes, for real.
Yeah.
The next up we have The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, with Andrew
Yes.
Garfield. This one, oh no, I lied. This is the one that I have the most nostalgia for. Yeah, this is definitely the one that I have the most for.
Dude, oh my gosh, the super nostalgic scene is the scene where he's swinging from the chains.
Yeah.
And it's I forget what song's playing. It's
like an
For You.
That's in the second one.
Oh, that's the second one?
That's in the second one. But the first one, it's like an Imagine Dragons song.
Yeah,
or something.
it's something like that. Some 2012
something
2012
really
song,
2010s songs.
And he does like this like
he does
like
the eagle scream
or whatever.
I just did that at I told my girlfriend that I was gonna eagle scream at the top of my lungs when she graduates, and I did, and everybody heard me, and we got it on video.
Nice.
It was awesome, and I listened into the video. I sound exactly like that scream. It's so funny. Yeah, but the eagle scream is hilarious. The movie though, it's a weird case for me because it's the most nostalgia for me because it's the first Spider-Man movie I saw in theaters,
Mhm.
and the first one that I could actually like comprehend, basically. Also, I feel personally like I had a hand in making this movie because when I was young, I wrote a letter to James Franco of all people. I don't know why James Franco. I wrote a letter that was like, please make Spider-Man 4. And like the year later, this came out. And so in the back of my mind, I've always been like, yeah, I had a hand in doing that. It's kind of funny to think that way. But he sent back, and I know he's a little controversial now, but he sent back a signed photo of himself. And I'm still going to keep it up. It's still kind of a nice memory, but that's like the most nostalgia I have with it. But it's I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is.
Yeah.
I think the worst part about it to me is probably the fact that Peter doesn't he becomes Spider-Man out of revenge, and that's kind of like Tobey's Peter didn't become Spider-Man out of revenge. He took revenge when he had his powers, and he didn't even mean to kill the guy. Like he literally just went to confront him, and he killed himself. Tobey was out, or Andrew was out to kill. He was out to find this guy and murder him. He went on a manhunt, and Tobey just ran after the guy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
but I will say though, that's part of the thing I think is I think Andrew displays the best range as like Peter Parker and his like various emotions and stuff. I feel like Andrew Garfield displays that the best out of the live action Peter Parkers. I feel like it's only matched by Tom in a couple of seconds in No Way Home.
In No Way Home, yeah.
Yeah.
With like Goblin and stuff.
Yeah, with Goblin and stuff like that, yeah.
And the more that I have dwelled on the fact that it doesn't really feel like something Peter Parker would do, I do take into account that they have actually made it this version of Peter to become, in this future, a darker version of the character. You know, Uncle Ben...
Stop pulling my punches and stuff, yeah.
Uncle Ben dies, and it's we get a taste of that dark Peter. Yeah. But then he becomes Spider-Man, and he's much more of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's a friendly neighborhood superhero. And then Gwen dies, and it's like, it's game over.
Yeah.
Switched off.
Bro, people don't think about that enough. Like, Spider-Man not pulling his punches. Like, when he's like out for, like, just like a Peter Parker out for blood would just like,
one punch.
He just dominates villains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is already proven by the Superior Spider-Man comic storyline.
Right.
When Doc Ock takes over Peter's body, and he
punches someone's jaw.
He punches someone's jaw.
I can't remember who.
And he like gets like super scared because he's like, bro, Peter could have done this to me at like any moment.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
It didn't do it. Yeah. It's so funny to think about a villain like taking over Spider-Man's body and then using his powers to the fullest extent and then going, I might not fight this guy anymore because he could kill me.
Dude, I couldn't imagine what Andrew Garfield Spider-Man did to Rhino.
Oh, bro, in that fight,
the mechanical Rhino, bro. He beat the brakes off of that Rhino guy.
I imagine like that's in this like dark era, and he comes back, he like rips apart the machine, and in front of this crowd of people, he's got this normal ass guy, and he's just beating on it.
He's just beating like this normal Russian guy.
Yeah, normal man.
Oh my gosh.
But I think the first Amazing Spider-Man is severely underrated.
Yeah.
But not the best.
Yeah.
Of the overall what we've gotten.
I think we can all agree that the suit is questionable.
It's probably the worst live action suit.
I do like the homemade feel that it gives off. I feel like it does give off the homemade kind of feel that it's trying to go for.
Right.
But it is obviously weird for that to be his main suit, you know?
Yeah.
But it kind of fits with the story as well, but it's just kind of like it's pretty ugly.
Yeah. It's not a great suit.
The best thing I like about it is the web shooters.
Right, yeah, the blue.
This is obviously technically the movie that introduces live action web shooters as well.
Yes, yep.
And don't they like glow or like they like spark red
something
or something like that?
Yeah,
when
they
he shoots them.
A little like camera flash, like red light or something like that. Yeah,
and those are pretty cool, I'd say. And we also get some really cool web moments in the movie, like with the when he like shoots up the one prisoner against the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the cop shows up and stuff like that.
Right.
I just did 80% of your job for you. And so, a lot of the quips and one-liners and stuff are on point.
Right. Which is it's kind of funny because I don't think he does the hand. I don't think he does that the entire time.
No,
I think he goes.
Yeah, it's more like it feels more like it's like a
like he's like throwing a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's probably like the hand thing is like the one thing.
Are there some first person swinging scenes as well?
He does it at the end. I will say because he does. Oh yes, he does do it in the first person swinging in the beginning when he first becomes
when
Spider-Man.
they introduce the suit. I will say even though I'm not the biggest fan of the suit, the way that they introduce it is a pretty good scene.
It is
when
good.
when he swings on,
and it's got the best swinging scenes. The both movies.
Yes.
Both this one and the TASM 2 have the best swinging scenes.
We'll get to TASM 2, but
Yeah.
TASM 2.
Yeah. I think personally, I'd probably also put this one in C.
I think so. I think it's a strong C for me.
I think it's better than Spider-Man 3, but I think it's still a C.
It honestly, I think it's almost at that B tier. It's literally like, I don't know, there's just something holding it back from pushing through to that
Lizard,
B tier.
I think Lizard was bettered in No Way Home.
Yeah.
But this movie, I think, still used him fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I definitely liked his like design more in No Way Home.
Yes.
But I kind of wish that his design in No Way Home was put into this movie. Because I feel like a lot of like the intimidation and scenes.
Yeah.
And he is kind of intimidating still in this movie, but he also looks kind of goofy in some scenes.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
looks like a humanoid lizard.
Yeah,
like, it's just
which I guess, I mean, he
looks like a normal dude.
Yeah.
Like he's got a flat face.
he's like bald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have just gone all out, and they should have done the new one in the
In the
Insomniac.
game, oh my gosh, I love how he looks in the game.
It's amazing design, and I think they should have just gone crazy.
That's gonna
with
be
the
an
design.
awesome fight.
It is. It's gonna be scary.
He looks like a fish, bro.
Yes. Well, you know damn well that they're gonna have the final fight take place in a dark sewer where you can't see him.
Oh
Like
my
that, you know that's what he goes into the sewer at the end of the clip. You know that he's going in there. That we're gonna have to follow him in there. But yeah, it's probably a high C.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man.
One of the
2.
best. It's undoubtedly like probably A or S.
Yeah. I to me, I think it's probably S. I think it's probably S. I think it's the strong side of the Raimi movies.
No doubt, yeah.
And I think it's one of the strongest Spider-Man movies still.
Yeah, it tells one of the most Spider-Man stories.
Yeah.
It's like stays true. Like it both feels and stays true. And because the reason I specify that is because there's a movie on here that is not perceived as well, and I think it feels a lot like a Spider-Man movie, but it also it doesn't do it as well. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But this one definitely has the feeling, and it perfectly like is written as a Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
And it really captures that identity of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think it's in S. You know,
Yeah.
we'll determine where it goes later.
Okay.
Far From Home.
Far From Home.
One that a lot of people also don't really care for. Some people would put this. I know some people that put this as the last one.
Yeah.
Which is honestly kind of crazy
Insane. Yeah.
because it's not that bad.
There's a lot to love in No Way, or not No Way Home, but there is a lot to love in No Way
Yeah,
Home.
there is, but Far From Home. Yeah.
Far From Home, there's a lot to love in Far From Home. I think there
I agree.
is some to dislike. I think there are some parts to dislike here and there, but I don't know. I think for the most part, it's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's it holds its own for sure. It's got a great villain.
Yeah.
Mysterio is amazing.
Jake Gyllenhaal is Mysterio.
So good.
Love it. Nick Fury's in this obviously for a good portion.
Nick Fury, but it's still, yes.
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson acts in this movie as a character. Yeah.
And it's pretty fun, you know. And
yeah, it's definitely the weakest of the home trilogy of Tom's trilogy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the weakest of Tom's trilogy, and it also is the first big live action Spider-Man to take Spider-Man out of New York. Correct?
It's the first time. Yeah. It's the first time a solo
in
Spider-Man
his movie. Yeah,
in his movie, right.
And obviously, you could kind of infer that from the title alone, Far From Home. But it's still pretty fun in how they do it, I think.
Right.
And a lot of this movie did have a big portion of this movie was like the build up behind it and the theories and stuff behind it and stuff.
It was.
And I know that did kind of cause some people to consequently like or dislike it more, you know.
But that's something we still see with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Even Deadpool right now is looking like a new Doctor Strange in terms of expectations.
Yeah.
I say that I expect an X-Men thing. I'm really just hoping that it's kind of an X-Men Endgame. But either way,
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be fun and a good Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
People get their expectations in the way.
Way too high.
Yeah, and like I personally did expect a bunch of cameos from Doctor Strange. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But that movie is still really good to me. It's still a fairly good Marvel
Yeah.
movie. It's a good Doctor Strange story.
I don't know, the Far From Home stuff specifically, I don't know. I think it was kind of dumb to be outraged over over the choices they made. It was honestly pretty good marketing and stuff. The fact that it's literally Mysterio as the villain.
Yeah.
The master of illusions and all that stuff.
And they
you know?
showed like they didn't ever show that he was the villain.
Yeah, and they kind of like even played towards, oh, maybe Hydro Man is in it for he's the water guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the elementals. Maybe they're the villains or whatever, you know?
And it did benefit from being like right off the back of Endgame.
Yeah.
Like people being like, I yearn for more.
Bro, I
please."
remember seeing I'm pretty sure we saw the Earth guy in the trailers or whatever, and everyone was like, bro, Sandman,
The
Sandman.
Yeah. Sandman. Well, because he's technically supposed to be a reference to Sandman.
Yeah.
Like they're all references to certain like Spider-Man characters.
Yeah.
Except the last one. I don't think the big like cloud guy. I don't think that's a reference. But
I don't know.
It's. I think it's like low B.
Yeah, I think low B.
Yeah.
It is very. I think it is a strong movie.
Yeah.
And it is very enjoyable.
It's overhated for sure.
I think it also have the most specifically like Peter Parker. I think it has the most like suit changes in the movie as well, because he changes multiple. He goes from the stealth suit or whatever to the advanced suit or whatever.
Yeah, he goes from he wears the Iron Spider in the beginning.
Oh yeah, the Iron Spider in the beginning.
He wears his normal Homecoming suit. And then he wears the stealth suit.
Yeah.
And then he wears his new suit. So yeah, 4 suits in the entire movie.
Yeah, I think that's the most out of it.
It is.
So it's getting that, that variation of costumes and stuff
Something
like
that the Insomniac game brings in. Yeah.
Which I know some people complain about because, Spider-Man, he needs his home knitting suit that he made himself and stuff, and that's his only suit that he has.
Right.
Until he has, access to different suits and stuff like that.
Right.
But obviously, I think Far From Home did it pretty well.
I agree. Well, the next one we have here is Into the Spider-Verse, the first one. S.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's S. It's probably the most... I think it's probably the most authentic, what I would maybe consider a solo, even though it isn't solo,
Yeah.
It has the most feel of like a Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
It perfectly captures. Like if Toby's second movie captures the live action essence, this like goes even further because it's animated. They can do everything, you know. It is a true Spider-Man story, and it perfectly like shows like you can wear the mask. It doesn't matter who's Spider-Man. Spider-Man is this idea, you know. You can be Spider-Man in real life.
Yeah.
You just got to think the way.
The Stan Lee scene in this movie.
It hits really hard. I didn't, even when it came out, he had already died.
Yeah.
And even then it didn't hit me as hard. Like it hit me, but it didn't like, oh man, I'm gonna cry, you know?
Yeah.
Watching it the other day, I cried a little bit. I was like, bro, he's gone. Come back.
Literally such a great scene, and the entire movie is just it has a tremendous amount of weight behind it. It feels like it truly moves mountains with the emotional and animation and appeal and stuff that it brings. I feel like
it definitely it changed animation.
Oh yeah.
In like, I mean, seriously, it literally changed like the genre of animation, because we got Puss in Boots and then the new Ninja Turtles, which are clearly inspired by this movie. It literally changed the animation game, and it's one of the best.
It feels like
ever.
I don't know. To me, it feels like it brought a breath of fresh air to the animation. As a genre and stuff. It feels like like the art, the funky, fun art styles and stuff. It feels like it just brought a new fun wave over animation that can like kind of add more creativity and stuff to it, you know? And obviously the music.
Yeah, the soundtrack in the movie is great.
Iconic.
Unfortunately, that's probably the weakest thing about the new one is the soundtrack of like the actual like songs that were made for the movie. Probably the weakest part about the film.
Yeah.
But
I think that's more so comparatively because the first one literally has
many.
Like literally one of my favorite movie like soundtracks. Like,
yeah.
And also in terms of how they use the songs, you know.
Yes.
What up, danger? You know, all that.
That scene is so good.
Yeah, and then obviously Sunflowers. It's played throughout.
Yeah. And Into the Spider-Verse it was hard to beat, but they did it. You know, they did it. It's kind of crazy. It is really insane. Well, then let's jump into Homecoming.
Yes.
And I know this is your, one of your favorite MCU movies. It's like top, right?
Yeah, this is another S tier for me because I love Homecoming.
Okay. I personally don't think it's S. I think it could be more of a high A. It's definitely A for me. But I really don't have a specific rating on A, but it is more of an A for me.
I feel like a high A makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a A plus kind of.
Yeah, it was such a good introduction to him in the MCU as a character and not as a person in the MCU, you know. And Vulture is incredible.
Yes.
So good. And
and obviously I know everyone talks about it, but the scene where he finds out that Peter Spider-Man
in the car.
in the car is beautiful.
That and the come on Peter, and he's lifting the rebel. Those are the two best scenes.
Those scenes, and I will say Tom's acting when he arrives at the house to pick up Liz.
Yes,
some of the best acting he's done in the entire trilogy or his entire character as Spider-Man, because he literally just
he shifts. His entire mood changes.
Bro, the eye look when he's I forget, they're talking or whatever, and he's just he's looking, his head's towards Liz or whatever, but he just keeps looking over towards Vulture. It's so perfect.
It's so good. It's definitely it's probably one of the most underrated. I would say it's definitely not talked about as much as the other ones, but I think that's because a lot of people don't like it because it's so Iron Man's in it and he helps them out, but we have to see him start out, you know, and this is the way that they did it, and now we have this. There's also
I don't know. To me, this is also one of the most Spider-Man feeling movies. And specifically not even necessarily the big action sequences, but more so the little interactions and stuff that he has in the suit,
right?
When he's doing the flips and stuff like that, or just interacting with all the people and stuff like that, you know, not in the main action sequences or Stop and Shocker or whatever, you know, or talking to Uncle Aaron. He feels so much like Spider-Man in this movie and stuff.
Yeah,
and the comedy and stuff like that. I feel like the quips are all on point.
I agree. It's it definitely perfect introduction for Spider-Man in the MCU. Tom. I honestly still believe that Tom is the perfect balance of Toby and Andrew, of the best qualities of them.
I also think this is the best representation of Peter Parker and Spider-Man in school. In high school.
No doubt. Yeah.
I think TASM kind of does it, you know, and Sam Raimi almost doesn't touch on it at all.
He leaves high school in the first movie.
Yeah. But TASM feels like there is some weight behind there a little bit, with the Flash scenes.
Yeah.
But beyond that, kind of not. In this movie, it very much feels, and even in Far From Home as well.
Right.
It feels high school. You know, you feel that.
And it's nice because it feels like high school when we were going into high school.
Yeah.
It feels like our high school.
Yeah.
So and I think our age range, they didn't go for the early 2000s kind of nerd Parker beating on you. I like that. I honestly do like that Flash is this kind of cyber bully.
He's not he's not the prototypical. I don't know, dude. I think that the evolution of Flash Thompson has kind of gotten better with each iteration almost.
I do too.
He literally has went from basic jock to kind of an underrated, caring kind of character in the TASM movies.
Yeah, bro's got his own little underlying story. His parents don't love him or something.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
and he embraces like Peter even after like Uncle Ben dies and everything.
in TASM, yeah,
pretty big, pretty huge character development.
So good when he like goes up to Peter after Uncle Ben dies and he's like, "I'm sorry about your uncle," and he gets mad at him. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
And then obviously Tony Revolori it's not as character development oriented Flash as TASM is. It's not like serious, but it's a great evolution for the bully like archetype kind of.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
He's not physically towering over Peter, but he's like making fun of him and stuff. You know, he's poking fun at the stuff that Peter doesn't want to be made fun of for and stuff like that. Nerd Parker and all that, you know?
Penis Parker, how he calls him. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the evolution of Flash Thompson. I think the version in The Amazing Spider-Man is like the perfect like comic book recreate like adaptation.
For sure.
Because he both has like the he's like the gruffness and like
he's like the jock. He's like the jock
yeah.
and he has some
The
like
soft
story
spot.
behind it.
Yes. Yeah. And Tony Revolori's version is the one that has is like his parents don't love him, you know, like the butler standing there with the sign. He's like, "Could mother not make it?" And he's like, "No,
bro." That was dude. I feel like that's such an out of place. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Just my brain in particular, I felt like they were going somewhere with that like character in that scene or something.
I like to think of it as like they just did that so you could feel bad for like laughing at Flash when he's like being stupid and stuff. And when that happens, you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like apologize right there.
Dude, that scene's actually crazy. Could mother not make it?
Nope. Oh. Well, moving on, we've got. Actually, no, sorry. Before we move on, Tony and Peter, great relationship.
Oh yes,
yeah. Great mentor, great beginning or continuation of that relationship for sure. Well, moving on now, we got the first Tobey movie, the first Spider-Man movie. I think this one is probably an easy A. I think.
Yeah,
because
I would say so.
It's the one that started it all. You know, it's got so much nostalgia behind it, and it is still a great movie.
Yeah,
like I think it did something, and then two only capitalized on that and just added more.
Oh yeah,
just made it the first thing, the stuff you love about the first one, and bettered it. And I think the first one, there's so much to love. There's so many memes that have come out of it. It's probably the most memed outside of 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Like I think 3 and 2 are both memed a lot, but 1 is like has the most. Like they brought back like I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Yeah.
And it is the one that has been memed like since it came out. Like people on the internet have been using it since it came out.
Dude, I feel like all the meme in this, almost literally all the meme in this movie is Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
And I sacrifice.
And J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah,
I think both of them are the most like meme material.
Some of the newer Green Goblin memes are the action sequences when he's flying on the board and he's like cheeked up.
His butt is humongous. He's got a giant badonkadonk.
Or the one frame where he smashes Peter into the wall and it looks like they're
looks like they're
smashing.
So good.
Such a great scene.
It's so, and I've seen somebody said that or made a video called the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy is the most sincere Spider-Man trilogy. Okay. It's got the most sincerity and honesty within it, and I think so. I think that's true.
With that, yeah,
I agree with that. But I think the first movie in general has like the most sincerity.
Yeah.
It's like the most like heartfelt, genuine like conversation between two characters, and just like you can really feel like these feel like real people.
To me, honestly, if someone was like they didn't know anything about Spider-Man, I'm starting them off with Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire for me, because it's just so it's the easiest to connect to, the most basic of the storylines, and not most basic in the bad ways, and more so in all the good ways that a superhero origin story can be basic and stuff.
It
is the my uncle died and I became Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think the monologue at the end of this movie particularly is like at the graveyard or whatever is like that's like
This is my
yeah
gift.
this is like stripped out of a comic book like just straight up.
This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's just like
Actually, my Spider-Man ranked movies on Letterboxd, the list is called The Story of My Life is Not for the Faint of Heart. That's the name of the list. And that's because that line is like it kind of perfectly captures Spider-Man a little bit. It's yeah. But this first movie is a classic, and I don't think we're going A right on this.
Yeah, I think it's A.
And then probably is it better than Homecoming, you think?
I don't think it's overall as well as Homecoming is, but I understand if you want to rank it personally above Homecoming because I see the nostalgia. I have more nostalgia obviously behind it than Homecoming.
Yeah, I do too.
So I can see that for sure.
But it's kind of like I don't know. I think Homecoming does some things a little bit better.
Okay, I agree with that. So
yeah, I think something that Raimi does a little bit better, maybe not better, but he focuses more on the relationship aspect of Spider-Man with all of the characters.
Yeah.
And more so than the other movies do. Most of the movies really focus on his relationship maybe with like the villain.
Yeah.
Or just the story with the villain.
Yeah.
Or even Peter's like own self like
identity
kind of
stuff, yeah.
But I think what Sam Raimi did the best was Toby's or Peter's relationship with the people in his life.
Yeah.
I think that's hands down the best part of those movies.
Yeah, for
even
sure.
Even if like the relationship between Mary Jane and Peter isn't as good as like Andrew's Peter and Gwen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
for
just
sure.
delved into more.
Yeah. And there are some scenes that here and there where the dialogue is like
Right.
Like specifically there's that one scene with Aunt May where I just don't like her reaction or whatever when she finds out that he like I think it's when she finds out that he killed Uncle Ben or whatever.
Like was they lied to him?
Or yeah, she like blamed him or something like right after he told him that I was just like I don't know, that's
she leaves like she's like just kind of looks at him like what?
Yeah, she's
then she leaves. And then
she looks like horrified.
And when he comes back to apologize or like to see her again, she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It don't matter. It's all cool. Like it's all good."
There are some scenes here and there, obviously, but I don't know. Like you said, the relationships they're there to elevate Peter's character. I think in all the best ways, and they do in the first film in particular a lot. But obviously they're expanded upon throughout the other ones.
Yeah, and now we have the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I think is probably it's our hottest take, I think, because it's like the least liked movie.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think this movie is as bad as everyone says.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the weakest.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like it's unwatchable, you know. It's horrible.
I'll say this, out of all these movies, it's one of the most fun. I'll say that.
Which is hilarious because I think it's one of the darkest.
It is one of the darkest,
it's dark.
But it's definitely one of the darkest, but it's also one of the most Spider-Man feeling movies, you know what I mean?
This is the movie that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Toby's like second Spider-Man movie captures like the essence and the feeling, like the essence of like a true Spider-Man story, and it perfectly does it easily. But this one, it stumbles, but it feels like a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
Like it also like in comparative, I don't think Far From Home feels like a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
But it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
Like it's still like has themes of a Spider-Man character and story that are really good.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't think of it as like a Spider-Man. Ooh, that's a Spider-Man movie right there. But this one, feels like it's him. It's him being just stacked on stuff that he can't handle.
I think the mannerisms and stuff of Spider-Man in the suit in this movie just feels the most like the character that I envisioned for live action.
Yeah.
I specifically love his final showdown with Electro, where when Gwen shows up and he has like this like really animated kind of feeling and he's acting.
The scene that people think looks like he's singing if you read it.
Yeah.
It looks like a musical.
Yeah. He's very acting a lot and stuff and crashing around and stuff. And it just, I don't know, it feels very Spider-Man-esque. And the quips are probably the best, I think, in this movie. In all of the live action movies. Because he has them in this movie very, very rapidly. A lot of the action sequences, mostly with Electro, which at the time I think everyone can agree, Electro in this movie was treated way too harshly.
Yeah.
Now there is some missteps with his character. I think he is rather goofy in his in his origin, I guess. But I think his design specifically was treated way too harshly. It felt like to me like people hated him specifically because of his design. But it's not that bad, honestly.
It really isn't.
And honestly, the CGI is pretty good in a lot of points.
Yes. And I think the music, his theme is used so well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. His theme is amazing. And that's literally probably one of my favorite parts in the... I'm not even joking. It is kind of goofy, but one of my favorite parts in the entire movie is when he goes into like the electric beam things and he plays Itsy Bitsy Spider and hits Peter and he goes, "Oh, I hate this song."
So good.
I love that moment.
It's a very Spider-Man scene.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so good. And it's like, because people will call that corny and then like laugh at the goblin doing the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the goblin and like
lost the spider out. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. That felt more like, it's there, but it's not like that direct. And it's like, oh, I hate this song. And it's just a little one line there, And then obviously there is the Green Goblin stuff, which is where I feel like most people's frustrations with the movies.
Probably the worst part, I think, is Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin. Yeah. And I don't even think he's like, again, as bad as everyone says. People are like, he looks like a meth head. And it's like, well, they did their best, like, trying to make a realistic looking, like, goblin. Like, him actually becoming
I think
goblin.
That's one thing that you have to take into account with this movie is it was going for a realistic tone with these unrealistic characters and stuff.
Exactly.
I know it's hard to say that while looking at like all blue Electro.
Yeah, like naked.
When when we saw what they did with No Way Home, that would have fit way better, obviously, into that universe. They didn't think of that all the time. That was also a genius kind of change in costume design for No Way Home. Having the crown pop up. Oh my gosh.
Good.
But
I wish it was like permanent. Like he like just had it whenever he was like using his abilities.
I kind of wish that too.
Because to be fair, he's using his abilities to fly.
Yeah, because it should always be there.
Yeah. That's why
I feel like it kind of was like I feel like he had the electric around him.
Yeah.
But not like it just didn't always have the crown activated. Only when he did like
only
the
when
super,
he blasted. Yeah. And him in No Way Home he's so like redeemed in that movie.
My gosh, yes.
Jamie Foxx came back and was like, he literally said it. He said, "I'm not blue this time," which basically in like translation means I got a second chance. You know, I get to do it again.
I got the haircut.
You get the fresh fade. Yeah, for real. He's got the Timbs, the most New York villain of all time. Yeah.
And then this movie obviously has one of the most classic Spider-Man storylines, the death of Gwen Stacy.
And it's the first and only time we've seen it on screen,
and
it's done so well.
I know it's obviously like been a meme scene now and stuff.
Yes,
but it hits.
It's if there was an Oscar for like best scene in a movie, I could see that being nominated. Like best scene.
I just loved it. I don't know if to me there was like a fraction of like when I first watched the movie, I had a fraction of a hope that like she somehow like survived.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping the whole time, and so is he.
I literally was like, oh, dude, she's just unconscious or something. And then the blood starts running out of her nose. I'm like,
no,
bro, Andrew Garfield's acting, bro.
He's Yeah.
Oh
man.
my gosh.
You gotta take a little pause there because he's phenomenal in that
You know
scene.
that they, I guess this actually kind of builds on what you said about him being a darker Spider-Man in general. You know about the deleted scene
Where
about him like literally killing. I don't know if he directly kills, but he beats the living shit out of Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin after.
He goes back and he's like,
he goes back
I'm
up,
killing you.
And there's like, I don't think they have the full scene released, but I've seen like pictures of it, and he's like.
With him above his head and like
raging.
screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
Oh my.
Yes. And it's such a shame that scene
And this movie obviously does set up the Sinister Six as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I think the movie is definitely not as bad as people say it is.
Yeah.
It is a little messy. Actually, it's very messy.
Yeah.
It's got it has a lot of plot points that it tries to follow. It's got 3 different villains.
They also, I will say the marketing for Rhino, like how they marketed it. Because I know this movie came out a while back, 2014, but I remember the marketing for Rhino was horrible, bro. They really made this dude like he's gonna be in the movie.
He's a main character. Yeah,
and he's in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, and I'm not the biggest fan of I know really no one is, the blood plot of him being like, oh, you need my blood to live. I don't want to give it to you. And it's like, first of all, how do you know it would work? And second, why wouldn't you give it to him?
I honestly think that Harry should have been in the first movie.
Yes, because he comes out of nowhere, and they're all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that they were childhood best friends.
Yeah, like, and I don't even think Dane DeHaan was a bad choice. I think him and Andrew has some pretty decent scenes.
The scene
together.
on the dock.
Yeah, the dock. That was a really good scene in particular.
Scene.
Oh, dude, and I will say the scene where he graduates at the very beginning, very nostalgic scene. I feel like Spider-Man in the graduation cap.
Yes, and he still feels the mask on him and he takes it off. And Stan's cameo. I think I know that guy.
Yeah,
so good. This is gonna be a hard one to rank because I don't. It is not as bad to me, but it is probably the lower ranks.
Yeah, I think it is in the C tier.
I think it's kind of almost a tie between it and 3, Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
I think the first one's better. And I kind of have a lot of nostalgia for the third one.
I don't know. I think 3 probably has a tad bit more structure to it, just a little bit more.
It definitely its story is much more like, it's not like balancing like 10 different plot lines. You know, it's definitely, it's got one storyline. The only difference is that it's Sam Raimi didn't want to do the Venom thing.
Yeah.
So that feels very out of place.
The Venom stuff does, which I will say that the Venom stuff is almost as bad as like some of the Rhino and Green Goblin stuff in TASM 2.
But if we didn't have the Venom stuff, we wouldn't get black suited Spider-Man.
We wouldn't have gotten black suited Spider-Man. Yeah,
and we never would have got the dance.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It's so iconic now. So yeah, probably.
I would probably put it just barely under Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
just barely.
I probably would too. And now let's do the final 2 movies kind of at once because we already talked about Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to do, was kind of compare it to No Way Home. Okay. Because No Way Home, wasn't No Way Home your favorite?
Yeah, No Way Home. Well,
when it came
Spider-Man
out?
movie?
Yeah. Okay, so we were both on that same page where it is on our favorite. I want to see if Across the Spider-Verse has overtaken it.
Yeah, okay.
Because for me, I think it's going to be hard to ever replicate the feeling that No Way Home gave me.
Yeah.
Of like, this is actually happening. I'm actually watching this movie right now. But Across the Spider-Verse gave me a different feeling.
Yeah.
It gave me a feeling of, I just watched the best thing I'll ever watch in my life.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I had that feeling with only one other movie, and that was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
That feeling, and I could argue I felt that way with Endgame, but Endgame was different. It was like the closing of a chapter of my life, so it was a little different. But these 2 movies, Everything Everywhere and Spider-Verse, these 2 movies were were 2 films that I went in expecting to enjoy, and I came out like altered. I was like my life changed after I watched them. It is. I think Across has taken over No Way Home, and No Way Home is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good, and I will argue this until the sun burns out. It is a good Spider-Man story, a great Spider-Man story, even without the nostalgia bits. If you
Yeah.
replaced everybody's actor with someone else, it's still a great told Spider-Man story.
I think that's what makes it so good is that it is that with, and I thought that's what everyone agreed on when the movie came out, is that we were like, yeah, it does have the cameos, but this is the type of movie that we're talking about that can have the cameos because the story backs it up. You know?
It is benefited by their appearance. And their them being there. The Tom's character is bettered because
it
these
doesn't
other
feel
two are
just
there.
like fan service thrown at the wall.
And people were literally like, I can't wait for them to show up at the end of the movie to help out. Like, no, this was better. We get to see them be Peters.
Yeah,
together.
they literally, bro, both Peters literally like interacted and caused a dynamic and created a dynamic with the Peter Parker from the MCU and even changed his character for the better, obviously.
Yes. They both had advice for him to follow.
That's
and
literally
turn into
like,
Spider-Man. Yeah.
They literally used the cameos, the nostalgia bait cameos, for the best possible utility that they could use them in.
And you're not going to sit there and act like they didn't make every single one of those villains better than they already were.
Yeah.
Like, the No Way Home hate is, I don't get it. I seriously, I don't get how everybody, it's because, and it's probably because it's part of Phase 4 and Marvel isn't doing so hot right now. So people are like backtracking what they said about a good movie.
Bro, this is completely different, little off topic, but I don't get people who are like, all of Phase 4 was bad. And they'll go, all Phase 4 was bad, except, and then they'll proceed to name off like all of Phase 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what movies were bad to you instead of telling me what movies you liked? Because you're saying more movies than you should be if you didn't like Phase 4.
There are an equal amount of like bad and good movies in Phase 4 that there are in Phase 2. Yeah. And people still are like, no, Phase 4 sucks.
We had some top tier movies in Phase 4, bro.
No Way Home,
Shang-Chi, Wakanda Forever. Bro, those are 3 very, very top tier movies.
Yeah.
Like hugely. Doctor Strange I know is different for some people, but for me I like it, you know. It's more on the it's at least more on the creative side regardless.
Yeah,
you know?
oh, no doubt. At least we got to see a director like have creative control.
Creative vision, you know.
Creative vision, yeah. And even though it's not like everybody's favorite, Doctor Strange, it is affected by people's expectations of online debate and stuff. It's
absolutely
really all it is, because the movie is still incredibly strong by itself.
Yeah.
It's not the strongest, it's not the best movie in the entire franchise, but it stands on its own, you know? And so I don't get it either, but No Way Home as a Spider-Man movie is still probably the strongest live action in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's the best live action.
I do think it's the best live action for sure.
Yeah.
And it as an experience at the theater, it's probably the best experience of any movie I've ever had, like at the theater.
Yes, it's definitely mine. Yeah.
But I think I would agree that Across the Spider-Verse is the better movie. I think. And
I know it's early and the movie just came out.
Yeah, I know people saying recency bias and stuff, which I mean
maybe
it is, but I severely doubt it, honestly.
And think about it like this. I didn't even believe my own ranking of Spider-Verse being a 10 until I rewatched it, because I truly didn't think I liked it that much as everybody else. Yeah. But after rewatching it, I do believe that. I was like, yes, this is a 10. And I didn't have that feeling that most people had after watching it, which was like, dude, this was the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. I got that feeling later.
Yeah.
Watching this the first time, I'm like immediately, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah. Truthfully, I don't think any of these movies are D or F.
No,
you know?
Yeah.
I don't. And I think this is our list. Well, we can edit a little bit. Do you think any of these need edited?
I mean, not really. I think this was pretty straight on.
I think this is too. Yeah. So C tier, we have from bottom to top, we have Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 1, and then B tier, we have Far From Home. A tier is Spider-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, and S tier is Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home, and Across the Spider-Verse. And we're hoping that Beyond the Spider-Verse might even top Across the Spider-Verse.
That doesn't even sound like a logical sentence, like topping Across the Spider-Verse. But
Yeah, it really, at this moment in time, it does not.
But it honestly, with what Sony's done, Sony's animation department, with what they've done with this franchise, this trilogy specifically, it won't surprise me if they top it. Honestly, I'm literally, it's at the point where like, it's Across the Spider-Verse is so good that it's insane to think that they would ever top it.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, also, how dare I question them when they've literally done this kind of two times.
Yeah, and we thought the same thing about Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So just think of it like that. We thought that wouldn't be topped at all.
Yeah.
And they did. And Faith and Chris, is it Phil Lord and Chris Miller?
Yeah, Phil Lord and...
Faith and praise to them.
Yeah.
Get them to write Secret Wars.
Bro, yeah, dude, I actually saw that recently to try and get them involved with Secret Wars.
I mean, they
handle multiverse stuff.
They handle multiverse stuff. They handle big teams. They did the Lego movie. And they did the 2 Spider-Verse films, and all 3 of those movies are perfect. They're all perfect movies. Get Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Just get them. I mean, when the strike is over, get them.
Sony. Bro, Sony, start focusing on these Spider-Man stories, bro. Forget making these...
We're talking to you.
Forget making these villain movies and shows or whatever.
Yeah.
No one wants those, bro. Keep making Spider-Man-related stories with Spider-Man at the center, with Miles Morales, with Gwen Stacy, somebody at the center. That is Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Spider-somebody.
Right.
Literally.
We are speaking directly at you, president of Sony, Tony Sony.
Yes.
Tony Sony. That's
Mr. Sony, I'm talking to you.
Mr. Sony. President Sony, please only do Spider-Man films from now on. No more Venom. No more Morbius.
El Muerto.
No, El Muerto. Or more Morbius. However you want to look at it.
Can't wait for Morbius to be announced in Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yep, I can't wait. I can't wait for Morbius 2. More Morbius. Yes.
Morbius kills the Spot and is the main villain of Beyond the
That would be hilarious. Yep, best movie ever. It tops it right there. That scene alone will top Across the Spider-Verse. Well, I think we have come to the end of this episode. I want to thank everyone for listening today to our review and to this episode in its entirety. I know that everyone does that. Everyone listens to the entire episode all the time.
You do not skip a single bit.
Yep, and you don't watch the first 5 minutes and then click off.
You definitely don't double tap the screen on YouTube throughout.
Get to the good stuff. Yeah. Imagine somebody double tapping all the way to this moment. It's like, and they're like
calling you out.
Yeah, we're calling you out. The person's doing that right now. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate and love all of you personally. We will come to your houses and give you big kisses and hugs.
Give you a smack on the lips.
Yep, a little smack on the lips. Yep. Thank you so much. To look out next episode. We're gonna have some epic time, big epic moments. It will be epic, no matter what, because we will be. I believe next week is Transformers. And I think we were going to try to see that. If we don't, we don't. But if we do, we do. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gone.
The Cinemaniacs podcast.